Don't you hate it when you have too much money? I'm sure that's a problem that most of the world will never have. But what would someone do if they had all this extra cash on hand? You could invest it, pay down debt, or even save extra cash for a rainy day. An extremely small list of companies have been facing this very issue of possibly having too much cash. You might wonder, what's wrong with these companies just holding on to all this cash? High levels of cash on the balance sheet can signal some red flags for a business, such as investors wondering, why is this money not being put to use? Has the company ran out of investment opportunities, or do they not know what to do with this cash? Looking at what companies have the most cash on hand, and the tech giants all top the list, with Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook all near the top, not just in the United States but worldwide. To put this into perspective, just how much cash these 5 companies hold together, they have a reported $500 billion in cash together. That is more than the Portugal, Greece, and Uruguay's GDP combined. Opportunity cost is a major factor in why many say you shouldn't just let extra money sit around and be putting that money to work.
What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost refers to the value a person could have received but passed up in pursuit of another option. So if you were to wait in line for free ice cream, you actually give up the opportunity to do something else with your time, like working at a job or reading a book. So that ice cream really isn't free. Economists even use the concept of opportunity cost to determine if people can benefit from trading with one another. Let's look at a simple example. Just 2 people, Bob and Ann, who produce just 2 goods, bananas and fish. Because of the concept of opportunity costs, Ann and Bob are worse off when they try to do everything themselves. Here's what Bob can do if he spends all of his time producing only 1 good. Bob can either gather 10 bananas or he can catch 10 fish. And Ann can either gather 10 bananas or catch 30 fish. Bob has to choose to gather bananas or catch fish. When he chooses to gather 1 banana, he gives up 1 fish. In essence, Bob trades with himself. He can use that time to gather bananas or trade that time to catch fish, and the cost of that trade is 1 fish per banana. That's Bob's opportunity cost. The same holds true for Ann, but her cost of producing 1 banana is 3 fish. In the amount of time that it takes Ann to gather 1 banana, she could have caught 3 fish. She trades with herself 1 banana for 3 fish. So Bob only has to give up 1 fish to produce 1 banana, but Ann must give up 3 fish to produce 1 banana. Ann's opportunity cost of gathering a banana is higher than Bob's. If Ann and Bob are allowed to trade with one another, they may be able to gain from specialization if Ann focuses on catching fish and Bob focuses on gathering bananas. Because our time is valuable, any decision we make has a cost. If we focus our time on tasks we're good at, like Ann and Bob, then we end up in a better position than if we try to do everything ourselves.
Holding on to cash can come with the issue of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost represents the potential benefits of an individual, investor, or business misses out on when choosing an alternative over another. Opportunity cost is a major factor in why many say you shouldn't just let extra money sit around and be putting that money to work. But all these great, well-run and successful companies obviously have employees and management consisting of some of the smartest and most experienced workers from all across the world, meaning they have thought about this very topic before and understand the effects of holding on to all this cash when it could be put in other areas. Despite the negatives listed, holding on to this extra cash is also crucial for any business. Having money held is great to not just protect the business, but also build the future. With extra cash, businesses could make positive moves such as buying back shares, issuing a higher dividend, investing into more research and development, or purchasing existing companies.
When the US lowers its corporate tax, Apple can finally bring back its money The question now is how to spend it all. It may research future products, acquire small companies, and buy back shares. But why not acquire something big? Articles like this one suggest Apple buy Tesla, Activision, and Netflix. And to an investor, this makes perfect sense. Diversifying a business so dependent on just one product, and without making too big a dent in its wallet. But implied in this argument is another. If Microsoft and Google successfully acquire companies left and right, but Apple rarely does, they must be sleeping on the job. Microsoft just bought LinkedIn for 8 times more than Apple's ever paid for a single company. But never assume the world's most profitable company is bad with money. Apple's strategy is to shop for talent and technologies, never trying to make a quick buck. When it needed Touch ID, it bought Authentec. When it needed a voice assistant, it bought Siri. And when it needed Steve Jobs, it bought Next. Suggesting they buy Activision or Netflix is suggesting that Apple stop being Apple. Because absorbing a company also means absorbing its culture and forever changing its most valuable asset, extreme focus. It's the same reason they make so few products and design them so minimally. Saying no to what every other company would say yes to is exactly what makes Apple so successful.
One reason these tech giants hold on to so much cash is for future buying opportunities. Tech giants are notorious for buying companies and competitors. Microsoft has bought companies such as LinkedIn, Mojang, and Skype, all massive mergers for Microsoft, and helped the company diversify into other successful companies in a broader variety of industries. Alphabet has also been known for its acquisitions into an even more broad range of companies that you will definitely know, such as YouTube, Waze, and Fitbit. But even with these great mergers, these tech giants are still currently sitting with most business owners' dream problem of having too much cash on hand. Apple is one that has caught vast media attention for its large sums of cash sitting around. People have asked the question, if Apple is sitting on this cash and still have debt, why don't they just pay it off?
Yes, it would. When I looked at Apple's results yesterday, I found out, okay, they're selling more iPads, iPhone. I got it. But one number that just stuck right out at me was $261.5 billion. That's how much cash Apple has on hand. Nobody has accumulated $250 billion in cash before. Do you have any idea what they might do with it?
You know, I've spent a lot of time over the last few years thinking about this. To me, I think Cook is playing an end game here, a long game. He's looking for an acquisition or a series of acquisitions, and I believe he's doing it to position Apple against Amazon, Facebook, and Alphabet, because they all want into content, they all want into big data. He's going to have to make some buys here, maybe something like Tesla, maybe something like Netflix, maybe a supercomputing company. I don't know. But the point is, I think that's what he's going to do with it, and you know, then of course there's the building plants in America too. So that's only a couple billion though. That's change for him.
If we lower the corporate tax rate and Apple brings some of its $260 billion back from overseas, because that's where it is at the moment, it's overseas. If we reduce our tax rate here and that money comes back to America, surely some of that Apple money would go into Apple itself, buy back its own stock, or maybe raise its dividend. That would be a signal to maybe buy the stock some more.
Apple's total debt, long-term and current, amounts to $112 billion. This might sound like a lot, but Apple has a low debt to earning before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization ratio of only 0.5. And remarkably, despite having net debt, it actually receives more in interest over the last 12 months than it had to pay. Overall, these tech giants are all managed by some of the smartest and most experienced people in the world when it comes to finance, growth, and technology. So shareholders can trust and rest easy, knowing that they have a plan in place to ensure a bright future for these companies and will invest the extra cash when necessary.